Welcome. Thank you for being here today. The smallest bookstore still contains more ideas worth than have ever been presented in the entire history of television, said Andrew Ross, who obviously loves books. In my little persuasive speech today, I'm going to talk to you about why little free libraries, you should be able to visit them, as they're in your neighborhoods. And this description fits like a T. Each little free library is an individual, unique book exchange that can make an impact on your community. Todd Bowl, the co-founder, liked the idea of think global, act local. These little structures have impacted our neighborhoods, our towns, our urban cities, and our countries, and other countries. The Los Angeles Times like to say it has turned strangers into friends and sometimes interpersonal neighborhoods into a community. It has become a mini town square. I became aware of this cultural phenomenon 2 years ago when two of my friends came to our book club and talked about this crazy plan to build a book house outside the school they had been volunteering at. Some of the kids there had talked about how they had never had a book in their house. So Robin and Marianne, both ferocious book lovers, decided to endeavor to make a house for the books from the Little Free Library system and have maintained it and become the stewards. I was totally fascinated with the project and took everything I could do to read about it and learn all about the program, and have been watching this nonprofit grow by leaps and bounds. I'm very proud of the girls and like to say that I'm a supporter of their Little Free Library. I'd like to discuss three of the points about them, the key points about the Little Free Library. One, it's a unique opportunity to participate in exchange of books with your own neighbors. Two, it's a free system of donating books and borrowing books. There's no library cards, there's no late fines, there's no strings attached, and they can't be stolen because, as Todd Bowl likes to say, you can't steal something that's free. And the third reason is a way to give back to your community, locally if you choose, and if not, you could even do globally. Let me tell you a little history about the Little Free Libraries. They just started in 2009 in Hudson, Wisconsin. Todd Bowl built one out of a little red box of things he had at home in honor of his mom, and put it outside with the books inside it and a sign that said, "Take a book, leave a book." He had no idea how it would take off and how inspired the neighborhood would become from it. He joined with his friend, Rick Brooks, and together the two of them realized they had captured the people's imagination, and they started this little foundation that I'm talking about today. They had set a goal for themselves to beat Andrew Carnegie's goal, which had been to build public libraries in the United States in the 1900s. Andrew Carnegie had made 2,509 libraries, so of course they set their goal for 2,510. And they'd given themselves into the year 2014 to do this. After 2 short years, they had already made their goal, and they have now gone on to making much more substantial goals that I'll talk about later in the speech. USA Today said they're building these libraries in an era of iPads and Kindles might seem something of a counter trend, but these libraries are personal, and they connect communities in a way that electronic devices cannot. They are known as the largest micro-lending system in the world. The main point is, these are in your neighborhood. They're in 50 states. They're in 60 countries. The common response of this for the stewards that have these, are that the people keep coming up to them and they're meeting more people than they in one weekend than they have in the whole year. The second point is these stewards that have made them are making them unique to their own individual areas. Here's a location of 3 of the locations, of choices they have them. And each steward makes them unique to their own individual location. They're all registered on the site of the Little Free Library website, and those are registered about 15,000 at this point globally. You don't have to register, but that's the ones they're keeping track of. What they all have in common is they're sharing the love of reading books and sharing books free. The 3 books I have here are from Carpentersville, Illinois, that are located in, my friends are sponsoring, and I brought them to show you today. The co-founders, the third thing is they're constantly striving and they're setting the new goals, and they realized they need to pay it forward. They started the gift formation, the Give It Forward team, and they broke it into 4 parts. The first is Books Around the Block, and they started this in Minneapolis. And the idea was to partner having kids holding books in their hands in those inner cities. They put 100 of the little libraries in the inner cities, and it's been such a successful program that they've now piloted it in 13 other metropolitan areas. The second is Friends Through the Ages, and this is AARP is founding with them, and the idea of bringing generations together, 1 book at a time. And the third is the small towns, because I had talked about the 11,000 towns around America that do not have free libraries. So working with the Rotary International, they're bringing a little free library to each of those towns. And the fourth is the Good Global Neighbors, and this is the African initiative with the outreach working with Books for Africa, where they're building structures and sending them. And their first shipment has gone off to Ghana, and they're using Skype to talk to the stewards over there and keeping the connection going. In conclusion, I'd like to thank you for listening to the reasons why you should visit a Little Free Library. Just to reiterate, they're in your neighborhoods all around you. They're free for the taking, free to manage if you choose to build one in your neighborhood, and there's opportunities online to donate if you'd like to help with any of the 4 of the gift programs. I'd like to challenge you though to start small. Locate the closest little library to you. Take a book with you, leave it off, and swap it out. Become a part of the newest phenomenon. Take a book and leave a book. Thank you.